Hey guys, thanks for joining me on my journey of joy, grief, and authenticity. This week, I want to circle back around to something that we talked about last week. Briefly, my sister-in-law had mentioned that she was on antidepressants, and I mentioned that I was on antidepressants, and I really just feel like it's a big topic that needs even more attention. And so I kind of want to dedicate this episode to that topic specifically, but I don't want to lose sight of the idea of joy. And so at the end, I'm going to circle back around with my favorite joys of the week, and some of them I really want you guys to know about, so stay tuned. I think for a long time, I kind of fell into that bucket of people who thought that you should pray all of your worries away, pray your concerns away. And I think there is a lot of truth to that, but I also think that God gives us, He gives us doctors and medicine to help us. More often than not, whenever I disclose and share with somebody that I am on antidepressants, honestly, I hear them share the same thing back with me. So I think you'd be surprised that you are really not alone in this journey. John Piper has a great short video clip on this very topic about whether or not Christians should take antidepressants. And I so respected what he had to say. He picked up a bottle of water and he said, you know, my throat is a little sore right now. And so I'm going to take and drink this water that God gave me, this water. And would you say that I'm not relying on God by drinking this water that He gave me? I believe every person is obviously different. Your relationship with the Lord is different. And I do think it's really serious whenever you're talking about something that impacts your mind and how you think. It's serious. So by all means, I want to be clear about the severity of taking something that could alter your state of mind. It's important that that your mind be led by the Lord, and that nothing get in the way of that. So I do want to say that, but I think there's a tendency for Christians to make people feel like they have to pray something away and that they can't use medicine to support them. And so I'm gonna say that I disagree with that, and that I think that that's between you and the Lord. Okay, but before I go any further, I do want to call out the power of prayer and how important it is. One of the reasons I just want to reiterate prayer is because, one, I feel a responsibility to not disregard prayer. As a Christian, I feel a responsibility to communicate that. And secondly, I've been praying big prayers. And so I've loved and appreciated some of the things that I'm learning along the way. Our women's Bible study at church is doing a study on prayer. So I do want to shout out to Timothy Keller and the prayer book, because it is really powerful and I'm learning a lot. And there's so much more to prayer than I even thought that I knew. So in the book, he quotes George Herbert, who has a really tiny, just little quote in here that says, "For my heart's desire unto thine is bent, I aspire to a full consent." There's a lot of beauty in continuing to call out to God on what it is that the desires of your heart are, and depending on Him, even though you might not get the answer to that prayer. If you just stop and think about it, if you are praying and you're not necessarily getting that answer to prayer that you're hoping for, that's actually a sign that you are really dependent on God, because you continue to pray to Him and you continue to seek Him even though you might not be getting exactly what you want out of the relationship. And there's a vulnerability to that I've really been feeling a lot lately, because whenever you ask for the prayers the real prayers of your heart, it's a vulnerable space because God may or may not decide that that's best for you. That may or may not be in his will. And that's why we always pray in his will, that thy will be done. And then we're called to ask with confidence and hope. Don't be afraid that you'll ask for something that's wrong. Don't be afraid that you'll ask for the wrong thing. Of course you will. And I love that. We are confirming that he is ultimately the one that makes those calls, not us. But we're going to go ahead and put our hearts out there anyway. And it says that God tempers the outcome with his incomprehensible wisdom. Okay, guys, thanks for hearing me out on all of that. And before I go, I want to list my joys of the week. And one of them was going out to eat with my husband, Jamin. He is so sweet. I love him. And the other was, man, I've become more aware of this song called Raise a Hallelujah. Whew, it is good. And you can watch it. You can watch it on YouTube. You can download it, I'm sure. But it is, the one I'm thinking of is from Bethel Church. And so, yeah, you should definitely check it out. They talk about, I raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemies. I raise a hallelujah louder than the unbelief. I raise a hallelujah. My weapon is a melody. Oh, I love it all. I love it all. You guys, mostly of you know how much I love music. So, man, if you're needing something to pick you up, you should definitely listen to that song. So those are my favorites. I hope you guys have a great week, and despite everything going on in your life that may be difficult, just remember that joy comes with the morning.